Hey y'all, so grab your coffee, grab your tea. This gonna be a long one. This homeschool update is extreme. So, with that being said, here's how everything's been going. So, as God will have it, I said I didn't want to do no more traveling for the rest of the year. Well, then my husband got promoted to travel for the rest of the year. So with that being said, look. Okay, first of all, let's talk about what's going on here. I'm at home, and this is a homeschool update, and love it or hate it, this me, and this just what it's gonna be. So I don't know about you, but when it comes to me, I love my head wraps, and I love to make sure that I have my earrings on, and yeah. But moving along, between Serenity and I, homeschool has been a lot easier than anticipated. Now, we finally had our first day at the co-op, which was kind of hectic. Now, a week prior, so leading up to going to the co-op, there was some huge discrepancies with her schedule. And when I reached out to one of the ladies that was over the program, she was more interested in filling a quota. And I was really disappointed, but I get it. I get both sides. I understand this is a business, but I also understand sacrifice. And it kind of got a little iffy. I ain't gonna lie. It did get a little iffy. And it's not to say that I don't get what she was trying to accomplish. But back in July, when I went to my sister's house, I was emailing her back and forth about Serenity's schedule and the things that we needed. And one of the things that I told her we needed was I have to supplement grammar. I have to supplement math. Point blank period. Anything else, I'm good on. I can do science. I am a beast when it comes to U.S. history. Writing, spelling, I'm okay. I said, but 4th and 5th grade is where grammar becomes really, really important. And what I don't want is for her not to have a firm understanding of the English language, because even in her day-to-day dialect, she does not know proper tense. And now, mind you, my husband and myself correct her all the time. Now, a little bit of background information. English is actually not her first language. Creole, and I get this wrong all the time. But Serenity's from Hawaii, so her main caregivers were Guyanese, Haitian, Islander, like actual Polynesian Islander, Samoan, and Japanese. So understand, it's military life, okay? And with that being said, while mommy was working, Serenity was being cared for by them. So when she began to talk and understand, I was the only person speaking English to her at the end of the day. So mind you, throughout the day, in her early informative years, she was not learning English. So if you are familiar with childhood development, that is when a child begins to first understand their language, between 7 months and 15 months. Now, with Serenity, she was late to start speaking English. Nevertheless, she also had a lisp. So I fought for years to help people understand that English wasn't her first language, and that this was a full-on struggle. Now, mind you, for whatever given reason, people don't believe that people our color are not cultured, and that the only language that we could possibly speak is English. So, mind you, my husband, okay, so her father is Haitian. My husband is Bahamian. So with that being said, there was a lot of dialect and a lot of translation going on in her early years that caused her a real big delay when it came time for her speech. So with that being said, she speaks patois in a way that is extremely proper, if that makes sense. So anybody that is familiar with any type of language, usually you would say, I'm going to the store. In Serenity's mind, and what she's going to say is, I go to the store. So with that being said, her grammar is not where it's supposed to be. It never has been. So this year, it's very imperative for us to focus on that, because this has been a real big problem since day one. So when I had this exchange with the lady, she was like, well, I didn't know that one class was going to keep you from wanting to attend. Like, I got the opposite feeling when you enrolled her in another class, and that class being Spanish. Excuse me. Now, mind you, initially, I always wanted to have her do Spanish in her original schedule. However, there was a conflict because initially, she started off with grammar in the morning, then she had math, then she had science experiments, and then she finished off with Spanish. So when they switched the schedule, it cut out Spanish, and then it cut out math. And so I was really aggravated, because now I've already paid out my money for the supply fee. I've already paid out the money for no, I didn't pay out for tuition, but I already started buying content that the teachers requested for us to buy. So with that being said, I'm fuming at this point, because now you're telling me that one class should not dictate my attendance. Well, here's the thing. The purpose behind homeschool is for me to dictate and pick what I want my kid to learn. And I am the one that knows what she needs most. So with that being said, yes, I have a large problem with what you're telling me. So yes, one class that kicked out 3 other classes would dictate my attendance. Like, clearly. So now, mind you, at this point, I was upset, but I wasn't really upset, because I was only out of pocket maybe like $300 at this point, between registration, supply fees, and other materials that the faculty requested. So let's go far. At this point, this is all happening in July, okay? So we are in August, about to head into September. So July ends and September passes by, and more changes happen, and then I'm notified about it a week before the classes start. And I'm like, so you were quick to take my money, then quote me your policy that says that no class is guaranteed because of the amount of attendance, but not once did you offer me the opportunity to say, okay, well, I would like to continue to pursue with this particular teacher and just pay her for tutoring directly. I didn't find this out until the day I showed up to the co-op after you made these decisions in early August. And here we are at the end of August, and you're just now relaying this message. So finally, the director of the program gets in touch with me, and she's like, Miss Smith, I apologize. I know that you all were, really trying to just work things out, and things just didn't happen. So if you could, we'll try out a trial schedule. So what we'll do is you could bring her in, we'll assess her, and then from there you can pick which faculty you would like to work with. Now this makes sense. And I'm like, so why was I not given this opportunity back in July when I initially said this is not what I want? Now, okay, I'm trying to hold in my frustration because I hate to feel like my time is being wasted. And at this point, I started to feel like my time was being wasted and I was on a ball and chain type of situation. So I sit down, they assess her the day that the classes were supposed to start. So keep in mind, I've already paid my money out to other classes that she's no longer in. I've already registered her, and we're not like literally this day you want me to now take more money and pay to that teacher, and you're saying that I have to reach out to the individual teacher that I already paid my supply fee to have them reimburse me, and then from there I can take those funds and give them to the new teacher. And it's not guaranteed that they're going to reimburse me based on the fact that initially when I signed up for the classes, it was all of our pretense understanding that this was going to be her schedule. However, you all made decisions amongst yourselves and then dispersed your decision to me after it was made. So how was I supposed to know any of this if I was notified a week before classes that you not only changed your schedule for the second time, but for the third time? So I was so upset. And like I said, I was upset because I feel like my time was being wasted. This is time that I could have used to source out another avenue of assistance for Serenity at this point. Like I said, it was a absolute guarantee that I absolutely had to have grammar and I had to have math. Only two that I specifically said I have got to have. So, thank God I did not go off the deep end, because Lord no, I was like 0.0 seconds from giving them all of my load. And I sat back and I was like, all right, Lord, at this point, it's a wash. I'm not at $300 over my piece is not worth it. It's not. So if this is how they conduct business, by all means, do what you think is best. We're done. We're going to move on. And if I have to pay for a tutor to come out specifically to tutor her, so be it. If we have to figure out a teacher, a certified teacher or a retired teacher to pay them and have them come to the house twice a week, so be it. At this point, it's her education, and I understand some people might think that this is overboard, but the reality of it is that either you're going to pay now or you're going to pay later. After she leave my house, she on her own. So we're going to make this investment now, one time, and if you don't do good by it, that little real personal, sis. Real personal. And I say this from a genuine place because this is the same opportunity that I was given. I was given good education. I was given all the resources. I was given all the tools. I was given a tutor. So at the end of the day, sis, it was on me to figure it out after I left my parents' house. It worked for me. It's going to work for you, sis. So, thank God everything worked itself out. And when the director reached out to me, she then gave me that option, and we finally nailed down her schedule. And I'm very pleased to say that we figured out a plan that's going to work for Serenity. Now, in the process of all this discovery, now mind you, this is my first year homeschooling. In the process of all this discovery, it starts becoming more and more apparent of why we're homeschooling versus public, private, that whole option. Now, me and Maurice had already had a conversation, and I told him, I said, look, when I start back working, we just gonna have to take this hit, and we just gonna have to put out this $10,000 for 2 semesters of school for her to go to private school. We just gonna have to take the hit. So just understand, I've already built my half into my budget. I hope you got your half in your budget. Well, come to find out, one of the teachers that I will be paying to privately tutor her next semester, well, next year, taught for private and public school. And she was explaining to me the gaps in public and private education, which is why her and her family switched to a co-op situation, because now the kids are able to learn the content for what it is versus memorizing the content and being able to regurgitate it for a standardized test, which is not always guaranteed to tell you what your kids' strengths or weaknesses are. It's just to say that we met our quota. So after she did the assessment, we found out that we needed to take a step back in grammar, which I'm not surprised about, because, like I said, number one, English is not a first language. Number two, in 2nd grade, her teacher went on maternity leave, and it took about 4 or 5 subs before they found a actual sub. And in our county, you don't have to be a licensed certified teacher in order to sub. And number 3, I remember in one of my previous updates, I explained to you guys that one teacher for the 3rd grade, 29 kids, 19 went to summer school. So with that being said, it's not a surprise she does not know. So, moving along, I said, okay, I understand we're going to have to dial back and do something different. So, this semester, we're going to work on 2 to 4 content. So, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade to not only build an established foundation, but to catch her up to where she should be, and then move her into where she needs to be in the 4th and 5th grade content. Now, upon starting this journey, I initially thought like, okay, we're only going to do this for a year. We're going to pad 4th and 5th grade in, and then we're going back to public school. Well, at this point in the game, I mean, God has really lined things up to where I don't have an expiration date anymore on homeschooling. My husband is, as he's always, able to take on 100% of what we have to deal with financially with me coming off my job. But I mean, God is so awesome. We haven't really had a gap in service when it comes to our finances anyway. All God, period. And another thing is that anything that we're picking up when it comes to homeschool, financially, we're in the same pocket that we were in when she was in public school. So we weren't on reduced lunch, so we were still my husband, not us, because I wasn't gonna do that. was still spending between $200 and $250 on lunch. Why? Because our kid eats. She had double entrees. She bought her friends stuff. She got the blue ice. She was tricking out, okay? She was tricking out on lunch. Furthermore, when it came down to content, I was still picking up workbooks and stuff to work with her at home and do homework. I was still paying for tutoring. I was still paying for Kuma. Like, we were not saving money. So realistically, I was still spending the same amount of money that I am now, although I'm really not spending that much money anymore. For one, because I mean, she wore workout clothes all day, because if we do leave the house, we're going to the park, we're going to the co-op, or we're going, to handle something. But for the most part, being at home, we don't put on no clothes. So, what I need to buy them for? I buy some pajamas. Like, I don't know about you, sis, but we've been around here living our best life like God intended, okay? And when it comes down to extracurricular activities, like I said, when she was in school, we were still putting out that money, so that bill hasn't changed. So if I had to put into perspective what we saved overall in 1 month, I really feel like between me and my husband, we spent between $600 and $700 with her going regular public school, just regular. Between lunch, between materials, between clothes, between activities, between after school, between food, just snacks at home. Whereas now, my bill is not even close to that. I feel like I may spend three-ish a month now, maybe, and I give it a full maybe. Especially with me meal prepping now. My meal prepping, I shop once a week at maybe $75. And that covers us for lunch and dinner. And I cook, I'll cook breakfast. But my bills have went down exponentially. Excuse me, my utilities, they still what they're going to be. They still going to be what they're going to be. So that didn't go nowhere. It didn't. Sorry. I wish I could have told you that they did, but they didn't. And when it comes down to field trips and activities, here in Atlanta, they have a lot of homeschool days. They also have Facebook groups. 3 of the groups that I'm in right now is Georgia Homeschool, Walton County field trips, and Georgia Homeschool Days. And when I tell you guys, this stuff is amazing, because they tell you all the field trips that you can take with your kids at a discounted rate. Like, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but Bethesda Water Park out here in Gwinnett, they have homeschool days where now they're still open during the day for homeschool kids to come and do swim lessons, have leisure time, and it's at a super discounted rate because obviously we're homeschooled. Fernbank, they have a homeschool program where you can come and do homeschool days, like for science, social studies, just an all around amazing homeschool unit. The zoo, the Atlanta Zoo, they have I want to say $50 off your membership for the year. And then they have homeschool days as well, September 12th to be exact, where you can come for free. And I feel like I should not have to wait until my kid gets out of school on the weekends for her to go experience life. Sorry, that is not how real life works. I go to dinner on a Tuesday, fully dressed and fully beat. So with that being said, I feel like I just feel like this just worked out for us. I really do. When it comes down to traveling with my husband, we have not missed a beat when it came to homeschool. As a matter of fact, we've had more opportunities to discover and find more alternatives to field trips, to information, than we did with public school. And it felt like I was always pulling teeth to get information. I always felt like there was somebody holding out on me. I always felt like you just didn't want me to do it. So you wanted to dictate how I dealt with things. You wanted to dictate what was going on. And that was initially my response back to the co-op. Like, no one else has the responsibility of being her mother but me. No, I don't give nobody else that authority either. So with that being said, after we worked out those kinks, sis, after we worked them out, we've been good. We have been good, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited. But be on the lookout for my next video, because next we're going to be redoing the office. I bought Serenity a desk. It's a legit school desk. There's a school down liquidating, closing, whatever you want to call it. So I bought her a school desk. And I want to get everything out the kitchen and bring it in here. So watch out for that video. We will be reorganizing, okay, sis? And I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Homebodies, I need to see you again. Leave your comments below on how your school year has started out. What are you doing to assess your kids' needs, to meet your needs? What are your mom days? I have a mom day. We're going to talk about that, sis. We're going to talk about my mom days. And I just want to know, like, how you doing? Like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, homebodies, I will see you later.